My name's Rich Harrington, and welcome to Understanding Adobe Photoshop. Let's take a look at image modes. These are specific color spaces used for certain tasks. For example, when working with an image on a computer screen, you're using the RGB mode, or red, green, blue, for the channels. On the other hand, when professional printing, you're using CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and key, or black. Photoshop supports several image modes, and they have specific purposes. Let's explore them quickly. You can go ahead and open up an image, and once you've done so, click on the Image menu and choose Mode. You'll see that Photoshop offers different bit depths as well as different color modes. Now, the bit depths describe how much information is in each color channel. The most common bit depth is 8 bits per channel, and that's going to be found in most digital images, particularly JPEGs. If you're shooting with a camera that supports RAW files, you might be working in 16-bit mode. The last mode, 32-bit mode, is reserved for high dynamic range images, and we'll tackle how to do those later on in our podcast series. Now, the image modes, on the other hand, describe how the information is being stored and what each channel represents as far as the color components. Let's see how this works. This particular image here is in the RGB color space. So if I click on the Channels tab, you'll see we have red, green, and blue channels. If you want to make those larger, you just click the sub-menu for the Channels palette and go to Panel Options. Once you've done that, you could pick a larger thumbnail to make them easier to see. Let's turn off a few of these channels here and just look at the blue channel. You'll notice that the sky is very light. The presence of white indicates a total presence of that individual color component. So in the case of the sky, which is definitely blue, there is a large quantity of that blue. So the channel indicates that with the value of white. On the other hand, the tower in this case, the lighthouse, has white in it and black. The areas that are white are an equal value of red, green, and blue, just like if you were looking at a spectrum or white light, where the equal value of all light equals white. On the other hand, the black stripes are very dark, indicating the lack of any information in that channel. So let's go ahead and zoom in here a bit and take a look, and you see we have different values. Now I'm going to turn on the green channel for a moment, and notice that that also has a presence in the sky. We have a large quantity of green and blue. Rarely do you have a pure value of only red, only green, or only blue. Most colors that we experience in everyday lives are a mixture of values. These subtle variations create shades and tones that you're used to seeing. As we see here, the red, green, and blue channels add up to create the composite image. Now, the RGB color space is the most common color space that you will use when working. It's the default, it's what your monitor is using, and it's a pretty natural place to work. Lots of filters and Photoshop features behave as you might expect. You can, however, switch to other color modes for specific tasks, and remember, you do that by choosing Image Mode. Now, the CMYK color space is useful for professional printing. Later on, we'll cover advanced techniques for converting for print, but one of the things you'll notice when you switch to CMYK color is that certain colors that are very intense will shift a little bit. Let's toggle that back and forth with the undo, and notice how the green in the grass loses a little bit of intensity. You'll often find when working with CMYK mode that it's a narrower range of color, and we say that it has a smaller gamut, indicating less range of saturation and hues that can be represented by the mode. Let's go ahead and undo, go back to RGB, and you'll see we have other modes to choose from. Now, index color is not used very often these days. It's an older version for very primitive computer graphics in the web, so it can be normal that you'll never touch it for any task you'll ever do. On the other hand, lab color is a very advanced mode for color correction. So if you look up LAB, you can actually find great books on the topic that explore. And its mode is used for really pushing subtle variations of color, particularly when doing high-end printing. Other ones that are common, however, though, are grayscale, and this allows you to create a black and white image that discards it. Now, this simply strips away all color, and there are in fact better ways to convert to a grayscale image. We'll explore those in a later podcast. However, once you've converted to a grayscale image, you can also then choose to go right to a duotone or a tritone, where different color values can be used to indicate for printing. In this case, we've marked the dark shadowy regions to one Pantone number and the lighter colors to another Pantone number. Pantone inks are used for specialty print projects, and this would be an excellent way of doing an advanced print for maybe an annual report or a poster where you are using specific colors provided by the client. Now, image modes are destructive, so once you convert to them, it is permanently changed. It's highly recommended that before you start switching modes, you make a duplicate copy of the image. Don't start to convert image modes until you are ready for specialized output. When working in Photoshop, the most common image mode that you will do 95% of your work in is going to be the RGB mode, which uses red, green, and blue for the individual channels.